and they put on old-timey uniforms and they have the players walk out of a cornfield. And it is the most like bonerific Americana. Like you're just like, you just start crying. You just like, you could not even know your dad. You start to miss him.
Right.
You know, it's like that's you fucking.
You just got one empty mitt, no ball.
Yeah, exactly. He's
putting oil on
We're
it.
going to play catch in heaven. You know, it's like
Is that you, Dad?
Yeah, that's what baseball does better than anything else.
Welcome back to the Isaac Abrams Show, everybody. I'm your host, Isaac Abrams. Today's very special guest, comedian, writer, actor, and philanthropist, first-time philanthropist, Mr. Joey Avery. Welcome, Joey.
Hey, great to be here.
Thanks
I
for
made some time out with all the philanthropy I've been doing.
Right, you're out there. Well, I mean, you are running for the mayor of San Francisco.
That is true.
Yeah, how's that going?
It's going well. It's going well. In that it was show promo and we sold that show out, and that's really what we needed.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Selling tickets is what we do as comedians, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of
well,
people-
actually, that depends on where you're at, because I've been doing comedy about 10 years and I like just now started actually selling tickets.
Well, that's what they say, right?
Yeah.
Overnight success only takes 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
So-
you just got to eat shit for a while. It's okay.
Shit, man. I'm eating lots of it.
Good.
Yeah,
That's right. You're on the path.
I ate it earlier today.
Did you?
On this show. How's the election going? You still riffing on that? Is that dead yet?
So that video did well, and what I'm going to try to do in cities that I actually can go in advance, whenever I'm headlining in a town, if I can get there in advance, I want to do a mayor video for each town, so I can basically shit on every town that I'm going to, but in a way that shows that I know actually what the fuck is going on in that town.
Yeah. So like you just head out a day early, shoot it in the morning, cut it in the afternoon, drop it at night, and then.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
I'm crazy. I was thinking like I got to get places a month in advance. I'll figure it out. I don't know if it's possible.
You're stuck in an Airbnb for 30 days. Please come to my. At the end, you're like, please come to the show.
I'm like, when it's possible, you know. But I do think I could be the mayor of every city, and I think I could do a better job than the current mayor of every city. But I don't want to actually do it.
Oh yeah.
So I'll make videos about it.
It's like Rogan says, if you want to be the president, you shouldn't be eligible to be the president.
That's right. And I do want to be the mayor, so I should never be the mayor.
What's the city you'd be least likely to want to be the mayor of?
Oh, that's a great question. Anchorage, Alaska.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you been?
No. I'm sure it's lovely, but I just don't want to. The whites up there are too rugged.
Too white?
Yeah, and too rugged.
Do you watch Alone, the show Alone?
No.
Have you ever heard of it?
No.
10 people go up there and they live off the land. They have to build their own fort. They have to catch their own food. And whoever stays out there the longest without being told that the other people have left wins $500,000.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So that's the problem is like I have no problem with the rugged whites. I just think they would look down on me. I don't think I'd be a good mayor of them.
Are you a non-white? You have tint in your skin.
I appreciate that. I'm very white.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can say whites because... with the hard E because you are...
Whites. Yeah. That's actually how...
No W.
Yeah, whites.
I'm from North Carolina. You just nailed it.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's really white.
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 White?
Yes.
What's up, my friend White over there?
Some whites. You know, it's usually the people who say it that way tend to prefer them.
Yeah. That's my preferred peoples is them whites over there.
No, I did. So I did like 23andMe because I was like, why am I getting tan like this? Mm-hmm. You know, and it was basically just like a little bit of like Spanish and Portuguese, but even that's you know,
well, a little dabble.
That's pretty white.
Pretty white. If I had to guess, I'd go Italian.
Yeah, I think there's a tiny bit of that, but I'm mostly like British.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know Joe DeRosa?
I don't know him personally, but I know who he is.
He was adopted and raised by Italian folks, and he's not even a drop Italian, even a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he's like, how you doing?
Yeah.
Come on down to Joey Rose's and get a sandwich.
That's right. But if you are from New York, you are Italian.
Yeah. I was born in New York, so I kind of...
You're Italian.
I feel like...
Yeah, everyone just kind of...
Yeah.
Well, and what is this? Because this is not... No one in Italy talks like this.
No, get out of here.
That's not Italy at all.
No. Let me take care of your garbage for you.
Yeah. That's not... You know, in Italy, it's...
Yeah, it's up here. It's head height down here.
What do you think happened?
The boats.
Do you think the boats took it out of them?
The boats.
Yeah.
Their arms were so tired from the ropes.
That they just...
The ropes of the boats down here.
Yeah.
From lifting all that money from garbage
cool.
business.
Yeah.
Yeah. You ever met anybody in the mafia?
Not that I know of. A friend of mine met someone who was in a cartel.
Okay.
in Mexico. We were out in Cabo, and this guy came up, and a very nice gentleman said to my very stupid friend, despite the speech I gave everyone that was like, don't be a fucking idiot, we're in a foreign country, goes up to my idiot friend, and he's like, free Coke samples. And my friend goes, that sounds lovely.
Oh, more,
and
please.
so then he does one, and then the guy's like, that'll be $400. And he's like, I'm not paying you. That Coke was shit. I'm out of here. And then got chased by the cartel and like dragged out of a cab and all sorts of shit, and almost died. So I haven't met anyone, but my friend almost did.
These are my lovely new cartel friends who I work for free now.
Yeah.
Wow.
He got away, luckily.
Fell for the old free Coke samples thing.
Yeah, they don't give free Coke samples almost anywhere, but definitely in Mexico. Maybe in the Hollywood Hills they do, probably.
You know where they also don't have real Coke is Las Vegas. Fallen for that 3 times now.
What have you gotten?
Oh, laxatives.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a pivot. You thought
Yeah.
you'd be up all night, but you were just shitting your
Oh, I
brains out.
was. But I was sitting and shitting. Yeah. And then the next couple times I'm like, well, it can't possibly.
Yeah.
All of it can't be fake. This guy looks much more reputable.
Yeah.
If they walk by and they're like, got that Coke? That shit's fake.
Yeah, like if you want to do drugs, you should source it before you're out.
Yeah.
I think that's a rule of thumb.
Yeah,
People on the street, generally not the best source of drugs.
No, if they had a real clientele, they wouldn't be barking on the street.
That's true. It's like comedy shows.
That's right.
Right?
If they had fans, they wouldn't be like, come to my show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're not going to see Bill Burr on the street in front of, the fucking pickled pepper in East Village trying to get you to come downstairs.
Yeah.
You should go to those shows. I've had to do those shows for many years, but that's the level of comedy and Coke you're getting if someone offers it to you on the street.
Bill, who just sold out the Boston baseball.
Fenway.
That's what it's called.
You're not a sports fan.
No, I am
okay,
not.
that's where we differ.
Here we go. I like sports ball just fine. It's great.
Yeah. Oh, God, you're one of those. Sports!
I watched.
Did we make a touchdown point? Sports are awesome, dude. Fuck y'all.
I understand the game rules.
Oh, my God, dude.
No, I watch the finals of everything. I just don't have time to watch 153, 63 baseball games.
You would be surprised how... I mean, yeah. So, like, I'm the same way, and then people will be like, have you seen this movie? And I'm like, what do I have, 2 hours to watch a movie? And I'll be watching a regular season baseball game. The difference... Baseball is basically ASMR for like still getting your work done.
Oh, snaps.
Like I just put it on TV while I'm actually doing other shit and then watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't. If you watch every single baseball game, you're a psycho. But you're rewarded for it because you have something exciting almost every day.
You can say the names of the players to other guys that are wearing that same color in a bar and be like, hey, Mookie Betts, right? Hey.
You have no idea how rewarding that is.
I don't. You're right.
When you're drunk, you're just like, oh, dude. It's
Yeah.
well, you're a music guy?
Yeah, I'm a recovering bass player.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Well, when you see someone with like a maybe mildly obscure band tee that you actually love, and you might be like, did you catch them on the fucking Banana Peel tour?
Name 3 of their songs.
Yeah. And then they're like, it's the best album ever. And you're like, it is the best album. It's the same feeling.
It's just camaraderie, just broing out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when you're drunk, that's all you want. You just want someone to agree with you.
Yeah, and when you're drunk and high, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter if they agree. Because you're like, bro. 7 hours later.
Yeah.
Bro.
And that's why getting drunk gets a bad rap because you see people doing that and you're like, those people are idiots.
Yeah.
But the actual tactile experience of being an idiot with someone else is truly amazing.
When you do it with your friends, it's okay.
Yes.
But when you're sober and you see a group of other people doing it,
Horrific.
well, you're like, I never want to do
They
that.
should be shot.
So I'm guessing you're not sober.
No.
But most, I wouldn't say most, but a lot of comics are.
I know. And it bums me out.
Fucking quitters.
Yeah. I think I kind of understand it because as you start like leveling up a little bit, and especially in the modern age of how much content you have to put out, like it is so stressful that sometimes if you get drunk and waste a bunch of time or wake up hungover, you get all this anxiety because there's so much stuff that you needed to be doing. Mm-hmm. And comics in general, we get addicted to shit, I think.
Yeah.
Because comedy is an addiction, albeit a positive one. and we all like feeling good, which is why we've dedicated our lives to making people laugh. So I get why it can get out of hand, and I have to like make sure that I'm keeping it all in check. But I love getting fucked up.
Oh, it's the best.
It's so fun.
I'm going to Vegas tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. That fire. I felt that.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to be amazing.
That's one of my rapid fire end of the episode questions, but we could hit it now. Do you like Vegas?
Yeah, I love Vegas.
What's your hotel?
Here's what I'll say. I am not a Vegas guy in that I don't like have my spots and places that I go. I don't go all that much, but whenever there is an occasion where it's like, should we Vegas? And then it's like, and then 48 hours in, out, that's the absolute max.
Yeah.
You know, 1 day, 2 days, you know, I went for like a UFC. We like didn't even sleep and then just leave. And like, but it's just so fun. It's a full send.
It's the best.
Yeah.
And then I've been going for so long, so often that like I had phases. Like in my 20s, me and the boys would hop in the car, be there in 5 hours. And then it was like, well, if you can't afford to fly, you shouldn't go.
Yes.
And then it was flights. And then it was like flying with your girlfriend. And then it was like, oh, the casino's invited you to stay for free. And then it's like, oh, because I'm a distinguished gentleman. No, you're a fucking degenerate gambler. That's why they want you to come out. And it's like, people are like, how do you get all these free rooms? I'm like,
it's not free.
It's the generosity of the people that work. I have a host and he likes me. No. But I like Cosmo. Cosmo and the Wynn are my favorites.
Yeah. I stayed at when I went to I'd never been to a UFC. I went to a UFC fight with two of my friends, and we stayed it's one of the new ones. It's kind of like off the strip. Okay. It's right next to Sapphire.
Oh. Is it the new Palms rebuild? How long ago was it?
Like a couple months.
Oh, so the Palms just got rebuilt.
Yeah, it was something. It was called like Resort World.
Oh yeah, that's across the street from the Wynn.
Yeah,
yeah,
it was pretty sweet.
Yeah, it flooded the other day.
Oh,
yeah, rained real hard.
Now it's SeaWorld.
That's funny. Dude.
But was Vegas the best when you were in the car driving 5 hours before you could afford to fly? When the drive sucks, but all of a sudden you kind of like you snapped in the back, you open your eyes, you're already fucked up, you've been drinking in the car, and then not the driver, of course, and then you maybe the driver. just one.
Just warm it up. As soon as you hit the border, the driver can have a tall boy.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think that's totally fair.
That's fair.
Then you see the skyline, and you're like, we are going to Vegas.
Yeah.
Like, nothing is better than that. When you're like super rich and you go on a private jet or whatever, I'm sure that's great. But nothing's ever going to beat the car days, because that was unbridled excitement.
Well, the other benefit of those days was that you might have had $300 or $400 in your total checking account, and you're going to go change your station in life.
We're going up or down.
We're going to a whole new place. And then it's like, I don't know how we're going to pay for that gas to get home.
Yeah.
And then you're sitting in 8 hours of traffic because you're not smart enough to leave before noon on Sunday.
Yeah.
I've had 8 hour rides back.
That's what's awful. And the thing is, the drive sucks, and if you were driving now, you'd hate it. But there's just something about, I went when I was in college, and we rented a bus, and everyone had to bring a mini keg of Heineken for them and their date, and would basically drink the thing on the way there.
Yeah. And
then we'd show up in a bus and just take over, and it was unbelievable.
What's the drive time from San Fran to Vegas?
I went to college at UC San Diego.
What? Oh, so 6 hours, probably 5.5.
Something like that.
Yeah, right up to 15.
Yeah, no one really drives from Northern California down to Vegas. That would be kind of insane.
That would suck.
The drive back would be,
oh God,
you'd kill yourself.
Yeah, even if it was closer. Like sometimes the drive back from Palm Springs is like, because they have casinos there.
Yeah.
When one doesn't want to go to Vegas, one goes to Palm Springs.
Yeah. Well, you want to talk about tough drives? I haven't gone in a few years, but I was a big Coachella guy for like 7-8 years in a row.
Okay.
That back to the Bay, I'm talking 3 days of partying, extracurriculars, and then all of a sudden you're behind the wheel for 8.5 hours, and it's tough.
Yeah.
I've seen people cry,
at Coachella?
In the car ride home. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough. The tears of Coachella are tears of joy.
Right.
then the tears
Molly
of dread
tears.
come.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay, that's the joy.
Yeah.
Induced joy.
Yeah.
See, I'm so old we didn't call it Molly, we called it ecstasy in the 90s.
Well, didn't that have stuff mixed in?
Yeah,
so you
like-
can still get like ecstasy, but it's just like it's kind of like a mixologist. There should be a bar, like a cocktail bar, where a guy wears a vest and he makes like the perfect ecstasy
Suspenders and the mustache, and he's like, okay, how old are you?
Yeah.
And you're like, why do you need to know that? It's like, oh, I'm 42. It's like, oh, okay. You'll be having ecstasy with a shot of whiskey and a side of a beer.
Yeah. And he makes the pill he's like, you want foamed egg white in your pill, along with piperazine, antifreeze, and a little bit of what you actually wanted.
Have you been to a bar that puts the egg whites in a drink?
Yeah.
We went, it was somebody's birthday, and it had it on like the special
Yeah.
cocktail of the night, and like it was a bunch of people who don't drink,
Yeah.
or they would have their drink, and they were like, oh, I'll have this one. And this sumbitch bartender who put this drink on the menu was cracking eggs like all night.
Yeah.
Like, God damn it, why do you guys keep...
I didn't realize that they hated that so much. They hate it, and I learned that
whisk it up
after being like, I love them. Because it's nice. It's frothy. I realize it's basic, but I like a lot of basic things. And it is nice. But yeah, that's a tough... and then you got to be washing your hands. Otherwise, you're going to get salmonella on someone's old fashioned.
They aren't washing their fucking hands, dude. They probably haven't washed their body in like 4 to 8 months.
That's true, but you want a good seasoned bartender like that.
Just like a skillet. You just want to leave all the old shit.
Exactly. Yeah. You can't wash it directly with water.
Isn't it weird that they call grease and old food on a skillet seasoning?
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
But it also makes sense because it's like, it is, you would say someone's a seasoned professional.
That's true.
They've seen a lot of shit.
Yeah. I just want a little bit of every steak I've ever cooked on my new steak that I'm cooking now.
That's what it is. Everything that's old is new again. It's like retro food.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, retro food.
It is kind of great. Are you a cook?
I mean, not professionally.
Yeah.
I prefer to let someone else cook.
Yeah.
But in a relationship, I try and work it out where I cook it and she or they clean it.
Yeah. She or they.
Well, I prefer
that's your
she,
two.
but I don't want to get canceled for preferring women.
Yeah.
So I'm sexually attracted to women.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah?
No, it's fine. Yeah.
All right.
I think everyone should be able to fuck who they want.
As long as the other person wants to fuck them back.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Unless it's prison and then those prison rules.
I don't comment on prison rules.
Okay.
I don't feel, I don't feel qualified.
Yeah. No, you never done time?
No, I got arrested once for possession of a shopping cart.
Is that
Petty theft.
Oh, you were possessing it somewhere it wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah, I wasn't in the store.
There's like,
But it still pissed me off because it's like, I grew up in the Bay Area. I know what homeless people be wandering around with fucking carts all the time off grounds. We're not using that as a crime.
Right.
But yeah, I was like 13. It was one of those, you just causing havoc with friends. We used to steal street signs and shit. We took a shopping cart, we put it in my friend's car, and then we went to we found out you could get on the roof of Safeway.
Okay.
We took a Trader Joe's cart. It's a convoluted story, but we went on the roof of Safeway and we were chilling up there, and then the cops came around and they got us. But I didn't have to go to jail for that.
Bring your own cart.
Yeah.
Just take one from the Safeway.
You would think, yeah. But we were kind of doing a tour of havoc,
Yeah, as one does.
Yeah.
When one's a kid. Or you push your friends around and like jackass them, like hit the curb and they go flying.
I made a bunch of those videos. Like, yeah, I would do a lot of curb flying, jackass generation shit.
I mean, it's so funny because they would say, don't even attempt to send us your videos. And then
Yeah.
we were like, you guys want to make a jackass video? And
100%.
everybody would be like, fuck yeah, dude.
Well, that's what's funny about our generation is everyone's like, kids these days, whenever I see kids making like a fucking like TikTok dance, I'm like, oh my God, that's lame. But then I remember I was just pushing my friends into a bush and filming it and being like, this is art.
Yeah. I wish we
We
had
all
social
just
media.
emulate what's popular.
Yeah. What's popular now? Do you think Instagram's going to survive?
That's a good question. It's hard to say because like I feel like I probably use Instagram the most, so I feel inclined to say yes. It just feels so different from TikTok in that TikTok just seems like this crazy free for all where even if you build up a giant fan base, you feel a little less connected to them because your videos are really only going to get seen if they're viral one way or another, no matter how many people you have followers. Where Instagram, it feels like it's going to show your stuff to a lot of your people, and people will reach out. I get a lot of messages on Instagram. I can communicate with people, tell them where I'm going to shows, and TikTok's all just like the content and the comments.
Yeah.
So it feels like there's a differentiated need for it. But then if you talk to a kid who's like, I forget, I was talking to someone, their like niece or nephew's like 12, and they're like, do you use Instagram? And they're like, I thought that was only for businesses.
Right, like LinkedIn.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Yeah.
They're like, they use like Snapchat, which I thought was dead.
I thought it was dead too, but they love snapping each other.
Yeah.
I think it's like the fact that it just disappears, which is a little sketchy.
It's a little sketchy, but it's also sketchy to have shit that never goes away forever for all of time. Like
Also
life used to disappear.
Yeah.
You would just have a conversation. Back in my day.
Yeah. When I was your age. Yeah, you used to be able to call somebody and they wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
If they didn't answer the phone.
I think in the current iteration, Instagram will survive, but there's probably a new thing at some point that'll come out that could shake everything up once again, and we just don't ever know.
Yeah, like our parents are now on Facebook.
Yeah.
So we don't touch Facebook.
Right.
And we're on Instagram, and the kids are on TikTok. They're going to need another one.
Yeah, and then in, if a few years, they'll be sitting here doing like a 60-second podcast, and they'll be talking about like, whatever happened to TikTok just being what you did? And then there will be some new platform it's 1 second videos,
Right. Just picture of my thumb 1,000 times.
It's interesting that we're all obsessed with like, what is the next thing,
Yeah, because we have to be prepared to like load our shit onto it.
Exactly. And so it was like, it's going to be, there was that like 3-month period where it was like, it's Clubhouse.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be shitty conference calls. That's the next thing.
Right? Like everybody's in one big podcast right now.
Yeah.
And they couldn't record them or something, right? Like you couldn't repost the calls. I never got into Clubhouse.
I couldn't do it. I give everything a look and I try because you'll see, but like,
Yeah.
It's arrogant to say you can predict it or you know what's going to be hot or I knew the whole time it was going to suck. So you kind of just have to be like, I like it, I don't. But you do need to be open-minded because shit's going to change on you and you're going to be looking old and out of touch quick.
Yeah, some of my YouTube algorithm is suggesting like, Instagram's dead. This is the new thing. It's just like the symbol and I don't even know how to look it up because they don't put it in the title. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to watch the video. Like if you tell me what it is, I'll Google it real quick.
Right. But then YouTube is a bunch of people clickbaiting and trying to get you to click because you're like, Instagram's dead. Oh my God, I'm out of touch. What's going to be next?
I have to watch this.
Yeah.
And then the YouTube channels about how to grow your YouTube channel, those are my favorite time loops. I mean, I'm guilty of watching a few of them, but they're like, stick around to the end where we tell you all this, and you're like, dude.
That's the thing that kills me about everything is like everyone wants to be seen and heard and have it be their thing. So even people who are using YouTube or writing articles trying to teach you how to do something has to add their own stupid 2 cents at the top. You're trying to like get a recipe and you're like, how do I cook a crab cake? And they're like, crab cakes are a seasonal dish that originated with the Pilgrims in Maine. And you're like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
How do I cook the crab cake? And then you go on YouTube and they're like, I'm going to show you these 3 quick and easy steps. We've all edited a video before, and when you're edited, shut the fuck up and tell me.
Yeah.
But everyone wants to, and I get it.
They're trying to drive their watch time up.
That's right. And they're trying to add a little bit of the flavor so it's not just a lesson, you know? Because we all want people to be like, they like my shit.
Do you have a separate YouTube for your podcast than you do for your clips?
Yes. Yeah, the podcast I do is called Pier 69. It's not that big, but it's fun. It's me, Mark Smalls, who you've had on, Andrew Arolfo, and Daoud Namyar. Mm-hmm. And we started it like back in the day in San Francisco before video was really an option for us and just doing a podcast. We were still doing open mics a bunch of the time. And then now that we took like a year off, and now that we're all in LA, we're kind of just keeping it going. But we've been on this journey kind of as a group of 4, and everyone's doing well individually. So it's been really cool to watch everyone grow and kind of keep that as our hub to stick together.
And are you still just doing audio, or do you have video now?
We have video now.
Cool.
So yeah, that's called Pier 69, and then my YouTube is Joey Avery, and that's where I put out all my stand-up stuff. And I do some sketch and just whatever seems interesting to me that week. But I put stuff up a lot.
Lots of stuff. You got lots of clips.
Yeah,
and they're all very funny.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I watched probably 30 of them before you got here.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of clip action right there.
A lot of clips.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I should have just put them all together. You watched the special right there.
Yeah, we're going to cut them all in right here.
yeah, thanks.
It's a 3-hour podcast, but we only talk for 20 minutes.
And it's all clips. It's just like, what do you do for work? What do you do for work? Oh, you're...
I'm a forklift operator. Dude, you had one where this lady's like, my kid's a year old. And you're like, well, it's California. It's not too late to abort. It's like,
yeah.
I love crowd work, man. It's my favorite shit. If I never had to write another joke and I could just do crowd work for the rest of my life, I'd be super happy.
Well, the modern era definitely lends itself to people who can improvise because to the nature of the beast is you got to feed the algorithm clips a lot to gain any traction, and it takes a long time to create an hour of good comedy. And you want to save that for a special. So if you can improvise and have these little moments, which again are the most fun moments in the room, it really helps you like keep stuff going, and then it gives you the breathing room to develop your bits more as well, and save up some time for a longer piece too.
Yeah, and I love it when the room is set up so you know you're gonna like absolutely smash it, right? Like there's a birthday party over here and there's a bachelorette party over here, and you're like, oh, this is gonna be a bloodbath, and you start getting them against each other. Some of my favorite shit. It's
fun, and I always thought when I saw people doing it before I was doing it, I was like, these people always ask, like, is it planted? Did you plant people? Or did you? I'm like, first of all, if you're going to pre-plan something, just write a joke. But some of the best stuff are moments where you don't know, someone doesn't even stand out, but you just ask a question. Like, everyone's interesting. There's always something interesting in the room. And, I don't like a show that's all crowd work, but to go around and learn a little bit about all the people that have come to see you and make that part of the show, I think could be a really fun experience.
Yeah. And then you're just tucking it all right in your back pocket, and then you go on to the next person, or you go to a bit, and then you come back. And and it's just universe just lobs it up sometimes, and you're like, this can't possibly be my life right now. These two people don't know each other. They live in the same street, or like this guy's this girl's cousin, or something. It's like all this crazy shit that always happens.
It's really cool, the synergy, like moments, and then at the end of a show, all of a sudden something will tie back to something that you said earlier, and you weren't expecting it, and it puts this bow on it that you could have never planned. But it's really fun, and there's just like a just a pop in your brain, and it's really cool because you're so in the moment. You know,
that's the most alert that you're going to be
in a day
when you're alive.
Yeah,
when you're standing in front of any number of people with a microphone in your hand.
Yeah,
trying to be funny. Like, no coffee is going to replicate that. No drug's going to do it. Like, your brain is just like survival mode.
This is like a sad thing to say, but it's almost like a fucking escape from the constant like, let me check my phone and like see what else is going on. It's like an hour of the day where you have to actually be present with people. That's the saddest way I could put it, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like podcasting too. Like we sit on our phones for an hour. We look each other in the eyes. It's like,
well, isn't that fucked up if the way to escape being stuck in a constant digital distraction is by creating one for someone else?
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's fucked up, dude.
Enjoy your phones, everybody.
Yeah, hope you're enjoying this break from thinking.
Yeah. Hopefully you're playing us in picture while there's a basketball or football game on.
That's right.
And you turn the commentary of the game off. Do you really need to hear the commentary?
So it's like anything else. There are times where I'll catch myself like watching a game, and I'm like you. I'm like, I don't need to hear the commentary. I'll just listen to a podcast. But then you're half doing both things.
Yeah.
So now I'm like learning about politics while watching a game, and sports has helped me. Like I said, I like having sports on in the background, but I actually do realize that sometimes if I think, oh, I can just have this on and do other things, then it's just I'm bad at everything. And if I set my phone down, and even if it's fucking golf, a slow game, but I'm like, I'm gonna watch this damn golf, it's so much more rewarding.
Yeah, I like to watch golf to fall asleep.
That's great.
Because there's those guys, and they're just talking, and then here we go, and I'm out.
It's ASMR for old dudes who don't know what ASMR is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of old dudes watching TV, you have a sketch or a short about a dad trying to turn the TV on. You guys got to check it out. It's super funny.
Thank you. I
love the like single shot, just chop, chop, chop lines.
It's really fun. Yeah.
Because I love shooting those too. Like, I haven't put one of those out myself, but I got a couple ideas, and it's just like, Like, how long did that take to shoot? Did you just riff for like 15, 20 minutes, or did you write those out?
So usually I write everything out, and I'll write out, if I'm going to do chop like that, I'll just write a bunch and then just do them. But that one, the day that I had planned to shoot it, I looked at my phone because I'd written down the idea, and I was like, this is going to be great. And I had written nothing. And I was like, well, so I just turned it on. I riffed for 5 minutes. I got stuck. I paused. I wrote for 5 minutes, did those, and then just edited it.
Yeah. And you cut your own stuff?
Yeah. Most of the time. What I do is I have an editor that when I do like fancy edits, I'll like build out the structure of everything and then be like, do the stuff I don't know how to do and make it look cool. Because I've done, you probably didn't go this far back because it's been a while, but I was doing these gambling videos for a while, like sports betting advice.
Okay.
And I'd have all these crazy graphics flying in, and I'd make Photoshops and then have him do crazy stuff with them, and it was all very over the top. And so sometimes the editing stuff goes past me, but I do a lot of it myself. Although I'm getting to a point where I need to outsource more of it.
Yeah, once you start making shit move around, fly around, and like graphic stuff in and out, it's like I even source that stuff out, even if I'm like making something for somebody else.
Yeah,
I got a graphics guy. It's just like,
they're better at it.
And it's what they do. They can do it in 30 minutes, and it would take me 12 hours.
Exactly.
My computer's like, my laptop is trying to render. They have a big old desktop that just spits it out.
And all the time that I'm not doing that, I'm not focusing on writing another sketch or another thing. And, you know.
That's what, you went out with Schultz for a little while, right?
Yeah, I've known him for a long time. So I've gotten to do a bunch of stuff with him.
Yeah, I think he's like the case study, him, DeStefano, like the guys that are like rolling with the squad. But the squad needs to have a dual purpose. Like, yes, you're going to get some time tonight, but you need to edit, you need to shoot, you need to, like, and building out that squad is almost like an essential part of, like, getting to that next level as a comic, right? Yeah,
it's funny because, you know, most comics got into this because we wanted to avoid having jobs or whatever, and now it's like, all right, you know, need to become an effective CEO of a tiny business.
Right.
And that's what it is. And the Schultz crew is the perfect example of it. Alex Media, who's been with him forever, has been filming all of his stuff. Mark Gagnon, who opens up, but also like co-wrote the Netflix thing or co-created the Netflix thing, and will like take notes on his set of like potential clips and stuff. So like the whole thing is just a finely tuned machine.
Yeah. And it works.
Yeah.
Like as long as you're pumping out content for like the main guy, everybody's going to eat.
It's huge.
I mean, who is this guy that just had his own special? I'm blanking.
Akash.
Yeah.
And then he got to a point where he was going out with him for a while, and then it got to a point where it's like, hey, I need to figure out how to sell out my own nights, and now he's on his own path. And
he's got his own squad.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just like squad. And it's just like, I guess the advice I would give to like a very young comic, like early 20s, just starting out, grab a camera.
Yeah.
And learn how to edit.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Because like I have, you know, some dates coming up where I'm like, you know, I want to bring an opener that's nasty at filming and editing because I have a camera, I can film and edit for myself, but can we get someone on crowd shots and all of this? And that is how you're going to add value now. Yeah.
And that's hard to get because like crowds are so like dark. They're not lit well. So what I'll usually do is like in a club, I'll hang like 2 wides, so we have something to cut back and forth to, and then I'll go around to the side stage and like try and get on a long lens. I'll try and get the crowd, but a lot of times it's too dark, so I get my lowest light camera on the crowd. Yeah,
it's just crazy how quick it all changed because I mean I swear to God it was like 3 years ago comics were like, do not fucking bring a camera into my set. This shit isn't ready. I'm saving it for HBO, and now HBO's like, well, let's see the numbers in the clips and all the stuff that you've actually already put out.
Yeah, and the clubs are like, how are your clips doing?
Yeah, so, because it's nuts. We're all resistant to things that we don't like, but at the end of the day, your job and success or failure is whether or not you can put butts in seats, and it's a longevity is being actually good at comedy.
Yeah.
But there is a something that has to start the engine.
Totally. And that's where, like, that's what I'm trying to do is provide as much value to headliners to get time on the road as I can. I'm like, look.
It's huge.
Yeah. So I'll charge these idiots, but then their openers in theaters are club headliners. And I'm like, let me get 10 minutes. I'll shoot you all weekend.
Yeah. No. That's huge, and it's a great trade-off for someone who also wants the stage time and the experience. Because if you were just there to film, your price would be like, like way higher.
It's more than they're getting paid for the weekend.
Yeah, that's the thing.
On a club
because you don't.
level.
Yeah, you just don't. You don't get that. So
yeah, so I got like all the airline miles. I'll get myself there. If the club could get me a room, great. If I got to use points, awesome. But like most of the time, it doesn't cost the comic shit.
Yeah,
and I get 10 minutes over 5 shows over the course of a weekend, or I can claw my way through the open mic scene in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
and listen to I fucked my sister jokes.
That's right, and that is relatable to a certain subset of the population.
Yeah, and I just like being on the road.
Yeah.
I like to travel.
But someone needs to speak to the people who just fucked their sister.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I got a couple of those for when I go back home.
Yeah. It's always a mix. Well, that's why I like coming up in San Francisco is stage time was great.
Yeah,
you know,
a lot of clubs.
Incredible place to come up and tons of great independent shows. And so it was just like, and it's a place you can put your head down. And I would come to LA every few months and get horribly discouraged and hate it. And I was like, I'm never going to move here, and then go back and just do, spots in the Bay Area and get better. And then finally it gets to a point where you're like, oh, all my friends are in LA. And
yeah, everybody else moved here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they say don't start here. And I don't have a choice because I already lived here when I started. So,
yeah, my advice for someone who's just starting off is definitely don't move here. But if it's where you are, I mean, it's still a great place to get exposed to great comedy. And to your point, you just got to find a way to get out of here and do spots on the road and develop too. And it's a mix of everything.
Yeah, you got to do your work here, which I'm not doing. But
yeah. It's easy to not do stuff here.
Yeah, it's easy. Yes,
like spots, because you could end up just editing all night or doing something.
Just keeping this show on the road, is insane. Because then I have this goal of like a clip a day, which not every episode lends itself to a full minute clip. Not everything's always funny if you're just chatting with somebody that you just met. So I've started doing like taking people's words and moving them around to make a funny statement instead, like on the kind of boring episodes. I'm like, make them say shit that they didn't mean. I don't get anybody in trouble.
Wait, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
you're like a reality show editor.
I mean, I have been editing for a very long time, and when I started podcasting, I started just editing audio, so I would just cut on the waveforms, and I could single out a specific word and make it sound like you didn't even skip a beat. Yeah. So my powers are very strong.
That's great, but that's super valuable, and ultimately, like that's if the clip ends up being funny, then the clip ends up being funny. It's good for everyone. Yeah. The viewer, the person who's saying it.
Yeah, and the best is the collabs. When they started doing the collabs, where it's like, I send you a clip, it goes on your page and my page. Your fans see it, my fans see it, because I only have like 3,000 followers. Right. And every time I collab with somebody, it's like 100 followers, 200 followers. Yeah. So super good for like smaller presences. That are making decent content.
Yeah, the collab stuff is great. Sometimes you'll get sent like an awkward collab request though, where someone's like, "Hey, I want to collab," and it's like, I'm pretty protective about the stuff that I put on my page. I have clips that I've thought were pretty good that I send to people, like friends of mine, not even comedy friends, and I'm like, "Would you post this?" And they're like, "it's a maybe," and I'm like, "Fuck it." Like if it's not good, I'm not putting it out, kind of thing. And then sometimes someone will like, I'll do like an independent show that paid me like $10, and they'll collab post me on a clip that was like posted on a fucking Motorola Razr, filmed on a Motorola Razr, and you're like, I'm not putting this on my page.
Yeah. And then there's some Instagram pages that they're not a promoter and they're not a producer. They just aggregate clips. Yeah. And they have like 1 million.
Yeah, and then they're like, we'd love to like collab or support. And I'm like, yeah, but what are you doing?
Yeah, are you getting paid for my funny stuff? Yeah. That's a little weird. But
it's really weird. Ones that don't produce, Right. Because like obviously there's like Comedy Central, Don't Tell Comedy are like producing great stuff and putting it out, but then it's like, Chuckleheads, and they have I have 150,000, and it's like a post of fucking Jeselnik and Bill Burr, and they're like, "Hey, we love your stuff. We'd love to do a collab." And I'm like, "What is this?" Yeah. But I'm also like, "Damn, y'all got a lot of followers, maybe."
Yeah. If it works out and they're actually getting permission, awesome. But if they're stealing clips and just starting a funny comedy page, like those guys can just go jump off a bridge.
A lot of them are. There was one that my friend got posted on that was not only stealing comedians' clips, it was just adding the Comedy Central logo to them. Oh. So people were hitting him up going, "Congrats on Comedy Central, that's huge." And he's like, "What?"
Speaking of Comedy Central, you have a Comedy Central spot.
Yes, yeah, I did a featuring.
Which is the name of the series.
It's the name of the digital series they put out. So mine ended up being, I think, 7-8 minutes. We had to cut the closer.
Oh.
But that was really cool. Yeah. I was like, I had really not been in LA. I actually don't even know if I'd moved down here yet. And they just saw one of my clips and then checked out my page and offered me a spot. It was really cool.
And then how long did you film? Was it 15?
I filmed, I think they asked for like 8 minutes, but they were like, it's flexible. I probably did 10, and then it ended up being like 7.5.
Yeah, and you've done a Don't Tell too, right?
I shot one. We might reshoot it, but I've done a bunch of stuff with them. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Those are good guys over there.
Oh, the best. I live in the same building as Kyle.
What's the address?
It is, but we have this cool like comedy dorm. So my roommate is Daoud, guy who I mentioned for my podcast, and then Kyle lives upstairs, who started Don't Tell Comedy with Brad Silnutzer, who's another comedian. And so we have this little like comedy dorm. We'll be running laptops upstairs and being like, "Is this clip good?" You know, right. And it's really fun.
Instead of just like texting it to somebody, you just take your laptop upstairs.
Yeah, I mean it's better to get feedback, watch someone watch something, and it's just cool to have an in-person interaction, because I'm texting and doing stuff all day. In LA, you can feel so siloed, and I'm down here. I mean, I'm engaged. My fiance is still in San Francisco, so when I'm down here, it's like comedy time. Yeah, you know,
and it's comedy full time.
I actually have a day job, but the focus has been stand up. Yeah, they're really flexible, and they like know what the deal is.
That's the best.
Yeah.
And are you gonna, when you get married, are you going back to the Bay, or is she coming down here?
She will. We're actually getting married next weekend.
Congratulations!
Thank you. And then she'll come down here eventually. Yeah, she's got a cool job, and so she has to be in office a little bit, but eventually she's going to come down here.
So the name of your sitcom when you sell it is Married but Separated.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Married but not together.
Yeah, exactly.
I asked this to a couple people. If you did sell a show about your life, who you put in your writer's room? Is it all the guys that are in your building, or you got some...
Oh, great question. I mean, yeah, definitely them, and then probably also some people that are actually good at structuring television series.
Right. So it's not
the
just
problem with comics, you know. Like, we're all like, we have these ideas, and like, you know, everyone's read half a book about screenwriting, and in the modern era, no one even knows if you're gonna sell a fucking script. So probably some very professional writers I haven't even met yet.
Yeah. Or like a showrunner who's like run a show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need, you know, I feel like as far as comics go, I'm pretty organized and industrious and business minded, but like even still, it's like you just, at some point you're looking around going, I can learn things, you know, I can learn how to shoot stuff, I can learn how to edit, I can learn how to write a bit. But there are people that put the amount of effort that I put into stand-up into all of these tiny things that I'm half doing.
Yeah.
And if you want a good-looking product, you need some pros.
Yeah, it blows my mind when I see a comic sell a show and then run that show.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a lot of... I mean, if you're starting a show from the ground up and you are the showrunner, you can kind of just run it however you want to. You don't necessarily really need to have ever had showrunning experience before. But it does help, like having been in at least one writer's room and interacted with at least one showrunner. But can you imagine, like, right now being like, you're in charge of ABC's Lost? What?
Yeah, I would say Lost is an aptly named program for me, because that's what I would be.
Guilty.
But yeah, you have to be arrogant enough to think you can do everything yourself, because I think if you don't have vision at the top, everything falls apart. And so if it is your thing and you're not taking responsibility for that, it will be a problem. But, you know, the smartest people in the world know their limitations.
Yeah, I think the smartest people in the world hire the smartest people in the world.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Surround yourself with... this is what I tell people all the time. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yeah.
And when you start thinking about that, you start changing the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Well, and I have thought about that quote as well, and I was wondering if that changes in the era where the time so much people spend their time with is what they're watching and consuming. I would say a lot of people on this planet, one of the people they spend the most time with is Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's in a lot of people's top 5s.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you think about it.
That's true. 3.5 hours, 3 times a week.
That's in a lot of people's top 5s.
Yeah.
but obviously there's a different impact, if you're just, I think the term is parasocial relationship. I don't even know if I'm getting that right, but like you have this thing where someone's a huge part of your life and you're not a part of theirs. So that's a very different relationship from the people you're actually spending time with.
Yeah.
But
I was listening to Chris D'Elia on Take Your Shoes Off with Rick Glassman, and they were talking about like how it's a one-sided relationship where the fans now start to demand meet and greets, and they know you so well, but you don't know shit about them. They have to have a hug. They have to have a picture. Or like the demands that the fans are putting on.
Yeah.
I mean, my fans demand so much of me.
Yeah. It's such an interesting thing. Like I would hear those conversations, and especially early on, you're sitting there going, I'd kill for all of that. That's what we're spending years getting paid nothing to do. But it's also okay to like, some people do like cross the line,
Yeah. I mean, you want as many people to know your name when you're starting, and then there's got to be that break even point of going like,
oh, this is getting a little crazy.
Yeah.
And then they can turn on you and all this. So all of that stuff gets really freaky, like this online environment that we're in where you're in people's feeds every day and they want stuff from you. It can get really weird. So I think you kind of have to get to a point where you're like, all right, some people are a little weird and crazy, but also it's this really cool, amazing, unique thing that you can bring a little bit of happiness to someone's life, and you should never start getting entitled to how cool that is, or you just don't have control over how people take that.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever had anybody just kind of lose it in a show? I mean, some people call it heckling, but like, have you had a fan that came there to see you just like fucking freak out?
I haven't had anything that crazy. I've had some people yell stuff out, and even some stuff like people I've known from high school but haven't talked to in a while, and then show up and they're yelling stuff out, and you're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, and they're in the dark part of the club.
Yeah, you're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they can see you, so they think you can see them back.
Yeah.
And they don't realize that there's a bunch of lights in your face.
Yeah, but I've had some cool ones randomly. A dude just gave me a PS5.
That's not inexpensive.
No. He was like, yo, I just want to support any way I can. Do you want like a PS5? And I was like, I'm not even like a gamer, but I was like, yeah.
Oh, you're not a gamer,
I'll take it. Yeah.
Too busy playing sports.
Yeah, I watch sports. I know I got it. I like downloaded FIFA and like MLB The Show immediately. But that was cool. I guess he has a plug on him. He like works for like Walmart or something. But
or they fell off a truck.
I don't know.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. He's one of those new Italians.
He wanted to support your career by giving you an opportunity to stop working on your career and do other shit.
Yeah, I know. Well, I was so excited, and I've like played it a little bit, but it's like, you were talking about like partying a little bit. That's a pretty time-consuming thing. If you talk about trying to do comedy, maintaining a day job, having a relationship, doing this whole social media era where I feel like I'm always under pressure to edit and get out a new thing all the time, or I'm not building my career. And then on top of that, I want to have a social life and go out and party. It's hard to find gaming time.
It is. I only allow myself to play video games when I'm on my exercise bike for 1 hour every day in the morning.
That's a great motivator.
Yeah. I want to get the bike that powers the TV. Like if you don't pedal fast enough, the TV shut off. Because I'll be sitting there and I'm like barely moving. I'm like, dude, this isn't a workout, man. You're just sitting on your bike playing video games.
Yeah. What games do you play?
I'm a shooter. So Call of Duty, Fortnite kind of shit.
Yeah.
I just got back into Fortnite. By the time this comes out, I'll probably not have played Fortnite in a month.
Yeah. I the first thing I downloaded because it was free is Rocket League. Started playing some Rocket League. So fun.
Yeah.
Car soccer.
Yeah.
It's great.
I've never played it.
It's just fun.
But like you could be a professional Rocket League player.
Yeah, and I might.
Yeah. I mean, still. I mean, you can't, but like a 10-year-old could probably do it.
That's true. I am like washed.
Yeah.
It's like athletes have to retire in their early 30s, and gamer athletes have to retire in their early 20s.
Your teens.
Yeah.
It's like, Randy's 17 now. He's out of here.
Do you think high schools are going to have like gaming teams the way they have football teams, and kids are going to watch that?
Well, colleges do now. So they can like fund some of their tech with having like an esports team.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much money in it.
I'm always stuck between being that guy who's like, you can't fight the progress, and just the world is what it is, and you should be interested in how things are developing, and you're just lucky that you've lived long enough to even see things change. And I'm not even that old of a guy, but I'm keeping that perspective. And then the part of me that's like, these fucking kids, go outside and hit someone in the head like we did. Get CTE, don't get carpal tunnel.
Yeah.
Okay? Play a real fucking game.
Play in the street.
Yes, that's what
hit by a car.
It's good for you.
Yeah.
It is better for you.
I played sports when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Sports ball.
Which sports balls?
I played soccer growing up.
Oh, nice.
And I played football in the street and at recess.
Street football is great.
Street football is awesome.
Yeah. I was baseball and ice hockey. Were mine.
I always wanted to play baseball. But, man, I'll go to the batting range and go like 0 for 20. I can't hit anything faster than 40 miles an hour.
Yeah. Well, so like I started at like T-ball when I was 8, and then I was really good in high school. It actually got me into college. Then I got cut from the college team, but it was really fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
You ever miss it?
Yeah, sometimes I'll have dreams and I'm like about to hit, and then I wake up and I'm like, I want to go back to sleep because hitting is so fun. I'm like, I just want my AB. I want my at bat. I want to hit the damn ball. I'll have dreams about it. I loved it. That was like my life, my identity. When I got cut, I was like identity crisis, like, because I'm a baseball player.
Yeah. And that was the goal, right? Where you're shooting for
that was it.
Pros?
Yeah. I mean, in my mind, I don't think any like scout who saw me pitching, 86 miles per hour was like, he's got it.
Well, it depends.
This guy who's 5'9" is gonna be our leadoff hitter. Like, it was not.
You never know, man. They got this is what I know about baseball. They have these magic dudes that come in for like the last 2 pitches, and they throw this crazy rainbow, and then game's over.
There's not a lot of closers that come in throwing like the eephus pitch, but there are some specialists that just. It's the cool thing about baseball is you get this like weirdo coming out of the bullpen. He's got this like weird pitch. He's fat, disheveled, and the batters are just confused.
Number 9, the Intimidator. It's like,
it's
what the
great.
Fuck?
Closer is great.
I have an announcer voice, I think.
Yeah,
do it. I wish I could. Well, I don't know anything about sports, so I'd just be like, I could commentate. Like,
you could announce your Fortnite.
I could.
Yeah,
I could stream that.
Yeah,
but I suck at Fortnite so bad that people would only watch the worst Fortnite player.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm old, and people don't want to see my face.
That's probably true.
But it could, I don't know. Eric Griffin plays video games.
Yeah.
He's very good at them, though.
Yeah, I'm the wrong guy to ask because to me, that's one of my, you're going to watch someone play a video game.
Oh,
I don't understand it. I'll never understand it, but that's okay,
Yeah. I think the theory behind it is that if you watch really good players, you can pick up some stuff that you can try.
Right.
But...
Yeah, I guess the cool thing about video games, again, as someone who doesn't totally understand, is at least you are involved, and it does take up a lot of your time, but it is really cool and rewarding that you get to work on something.
Yeah.
Whereas with actual sports, you invest a lot. I think actual sports, what's cool about them is you get to experience it as a part of the community of your city.
Yeah.
When your team goes on a run, I'm a Bay Area sports fan down the line, when the Giants go for a run or the Niners are in the playoffs and you're walking around and you see someone wearing the shirt and you just see the colors out on game day and everyone's walking, it feels amazing and you're a part of it.
Yeah.
Video games, it's at least you get to win and you feel that.
Yeah.
And so it's a little more atomistic, but
This will come out after the World Series.
Okay.
Do you have a prediction?
Holy shit.
And how glorious will it be if you are right?
It will be glorious if I am right. The problem with baseball predictions is as a baseball fan, and I think most baseball fans are this way, it's gotten really hyper-localized. Mm-hmm. So I know everything about the Giants, who are a game below 500 and suck right now. But I know very little about who's good. Yeah. But I've seen a lot of buzz about the Mets. I'm feeling a New York year, and the Yankees are slipping a little bit. Yeah. The Mets have that closer. He comes out to the trumpets, and everyone goes fucking crazy for the trumpets. That's the type of magic a baseball team needs. It's all about just catching magic in October, and I could see the Mets feeling magical this year. The Mets have won the World Series in 2022. You heard it here last.
This might be stupid, but...
It's, by the way, just so people know, it's August 25th.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's a good...
25th?
Yeah.
It is August 25th.
Yeah.
2022.
That's right.
Yeah. Are the Mets in the same series as the Dodgers? Or would they have to do semifinals?
They would have to. Yeah, oh, shit. Yeah, the Dodgers are a juggernaut, but fuck the Dodgers. You heard it here first.
As of this recording, they've won 12 in a row.
The Dodgers are a wagon. They are the most stacked team in baseball, probably. They are the best team. They absolutely should win the World Series, which is why, as a Giants fan, I'm going to take great joy in it when they have another catastrophic postseason failure that everyone melts down about. You've got Kershaw crying on the mound. Everyone's like, how could this happen? We have the highest payroll. Their payroll is higher than the bottom third of the league. I guess I do know more about baseball than I thought. Fuck the Dodgers. Fuck Dave Roberts. You guys didn't win once again, even though you've pulled out all the stops and you are the best team in baseball, but you failed again, and I sure hope I'm right about that.
Have you ever thought about doing a sports podcast?
I have thought about it, but not super seriously. But I would do it because I love sports and I pay attention to it no matter what.
I think you'd be good at it.
Thank you.
Sounds like other than the wrong take you have on the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Here's what I know about the Dodgers.
Yeah.
My neighbor across the hall broke his leg on a scooter a couple months ago.
Yep.
And the one time he leaves his house every day is to go down and watch the game for like 2 hours at the bar next door.
Yep.
I will walk him down there and I'll have a drink or two and I'll watch like 4 innings and I'll learn some names and then I'll walk him home and he watches the rest of the game by himself at his house.
That's really nice.
Yeah. I mean,
That's a nice tradition.
Yeah. So I have been learning about Dodger baseball.
Yeah.
That we just won. I hate it when people say we because it's like, are you on the team?
Yeah, but guess what? The team... Guess what? You funded the team.
That's right.
It's like taxpayer money. It's like the government, like we are the United States of America. Why? Because I fucking paid for some of this road.
Yeah,
I fucking paid for part of the shitty roster that the Giants have right now by buying overpriced tickets and shit.
Have you been to a Dodger game lately?
I've never been to a Dodger game.
They just put in like electronic beer taps.
I will go.
Yeah.
But what you hit on with that guy is what I love about baseball. Like, I'll watch random football teams play. I won't watch random baseball teams play. Like, football is just engaging. Not news to anyone. It fucking dominates the country. But with baseball, if you have a team that you care about, they are there for you almost every day.
Yeah.
And in the summer when there's no other sports to watch and finally you stop watching like football and basketball and your brain is able to just miss sports enough to truly get into baseball, it's like every day there's something for you to watch and you can just put it on and it's like the rhythm of life and you feel at home. Like your friend goes to the bar, he has his drinks, it's Dodger time. Like that's a nice thing that he gets every day.
Yeah.
Well, every like 5 times a week. There's almost no entertainment that shows up for you 5 times a week.
That's true. I feel like you got to have a backup team though in baseball.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
When your team sucks, just eating a plate of shit every day of the week.
You got to have the team where you were born and then maybe the city that you live in. You can have 2 teams.
Yep, you can do that. Or if you're like me, like I'm always Giants all the time, but you can do the like this team's fun this year. You know, I'm kind of pulling I can do that. We're not going to be in the playoffs, so I can say, hey, the Mets are fun.
Yeah,
got that crazy closer. He's got the trumpet song, and people like that. I can just like kind of wear that.
Yeah, the Tigers are just really killing it this year.
No one's ever said that.
No, that's original words said here for the first time.
Are you from Michigan?
No, I'm from North Carolina. We don't have a team.
Oh, well, actually, I just went to an Asheville Tourists game 2 weeks ago. Single A,
yeah.
Single A, but really fun.
We have the greatest AAA team in the country. We have the Durham Bulls.
Oh, yes, you do.
Yeah. I used to work with them a long time ago before I moved here.
It's got to be the most storied minor league team in any sport.
Yeah, we got a movie made about us. Mm-hmm. It's funny because where they play now is not where they filmed it, but they kept the old park, which is 2 miles away, so they can go visit it. But they don't let anybody play there. But if you time it out right and you go at like 12:30 at night, you can go when the sprinklers come on.
Oh,
like in the movie.
That's cool as hell.
Yeah.
That's the thing I love about baseball is like there's just a sentimentality to it. Like football doesn't do the past as well. Like it's like it's cool and it's fun and whatever, but football is like the game is on Monday night, what's happening right now. Oh, that old player who's like talking to a wall because he has CTE. Fuck him. Let's talk about the new guys. baseball is like Field of Dreams and the cornfield. It's great.
They did something in a cornfield last year during Pandy.
They started one of the few smart things the MLB has done for like a like a non-local audience is they started this thing called, I think it's called the Field of Dreams game, and they put on old-timey uniforms and they have the players walk out of a cornfield. And it is the most like bonerific Americana. Like you're just like, you just start crying. You just like, you could not even know your dad. You start to miss him.
Right.
You know, it's like that's you fucking.
You just got one empty mitt, no ball.
Yeah, exactly. He's
putting oil on.
We're gonna play catch in heaven. You know, it's like
is that you, Dad?
Yeah, that's what baseball does better than anything else.
Do you think they'll have a real league of their own ever?
Ladies baseball. Yeah. Boy, it wouldn't be hard to get a ticket.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't.
There's tons of like really competitive female college softball.
Yeah.
It would not be hard to convert, or are we going to have the same problem selling tickets as the WNBA?
That.
I
mean, the WNBA is, for as much people as much as people shit on like guys not supporting women's sports, the WNBA is subsidized by the NBA. Mm-hmm. The only reason it exists is because the NBA pays for it. I'm 60% sure that's true.
Jamie, look it up.
It's better to just fucking lie. But
I believed it until you backed down.
I'm 75% sure that's correct.
60% of the time I'm right half of the time.
Yeah. But it's just like, I think it's great. They should give it a whirl, but it just I wouldn't anticipate it being a money-making venture. But if it's a reason to get some incredibly talented female athletes a career where they can keep doing the thing that they love, and it's, you know, something for people to look up to, I'm all for it. It's just you're not watching it, and that guy, the guy with the broken leg's not going to go to the bar for it.
No, but we do need ladies to play on the co-ed softball team when we're this age, when we play softball in Burbank, right?
Absolutely, and some of the, having good females on your co-ed team that's actually the key to victory. I would draft them first.
I played adult. I did play sports. I played adult co-ed in Burbank.
There you go.
I was the pitcher. I would strike people out in slow pitch softball.
That's good. You're the guy with the rainbow pitch.
I used to be a bowler.
Yeah.
So I could just put it on the mat. Like,
that's great.
Every time, and guys are like, that's never gonna hit the mat. And I'm like, I'm gonna strike you out, bitch. Like, I was talking shit. I got kicked off the team, but it was fun while it lasted. Sports
are great, and even if you don't end up like becoming a sports fan, I think there's just so much value in like playing them when you're younger. You know, like I played sports coming up. My fiance was like field hockey, softball, all that shit. Like it's just it's helpful. You know? Kids need to get outside. They need to run around. Teach them a little discipline. Coaches get to yell at the kids, which I think is good. Yeah,
responsibility, hard work pays off. All that shit.
It's like a light It's like a super duper light version of like military. You know, it's like teach them some order.
Yeah,
but let's not get crazy.
Yeah, but run a lap and give me 20.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, we've done a little over an hour, and I have a little lightning round that I do at the end of every episode. So these, we don't have to deep dive on any of these, or we can. But
cool.
I value your time, and if you got to get out of here, we'll do this as quick as we can.
I'm a pretty verbose person, so we'll see.
Jamie, look up verbose.
Yeah. They make headphones.
Okay. Sweet. I'm gonna get them new verbose next week. Let's see here. Do you speak any other languages?
No.
See.
I took Spanish class, but it didn't really stick. When I was before kindergarten, I spoke a little Dutch because our caretaker who lived next door taught us Dutch, and so I was speaking Dutch and English for a while, but now all I can remember is like airplane.
Dutch.
Vliegtuig.
Oh, I thought airplane meant something else in Dutch.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have hobbies besides sports and comedy? Do you have any other hobbies? It sounds like you're a pretty busy guy.
Pretty busy guy. I'm really social. Like I golf, but that's a sport. But I do. Yeah.
I play golf too.
Yeah. That's kind of my big hobby, and then just like I don't know.
What do you shoot?
Good day 85.
Okay.
You know, usually like low 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm going consistently, I'm a low 90s guy.
Yeah.
I love best ball because I got 2 shots in my bag that are great, but I can't fucking putt.
Yeah.
So if I get with a putter, bro, look out.
Do you mean scramble?
Well,
So, because best ball, this has been a huge source of confusion in the golf community.
Here we go.
You would assume best ball means whoever hit the best ball will just hit from that.
Yeah.
But that's actually scramble.
Okay.
And best ball is actually you play your ball into the hole, but you're on a team and you just take the best score.
Oh, shit.
And it confused me for like a year.
Clipping it.
Yeah. Tag all the golf community people.
I'm blowing up in the golf community. The only
yeah.
thing that's going to happen is there's just going to be more golf chicks in my Instagram feed.
That's not a horrible thing.
It's not bad. Okay, so I like Scramble.
Yeah. It is really fun. I used to resist it because I was like, I want my score. I want to know how I'm playing, blah, blah, blah. And now I've played enough to be like, dude, golf is defeating. When you play Scramble, you eliminate the parts of it that suck, and all that's happening is maybe something great could happen.
Yeah. I got real serious about golf, and I was like, oh, my swing. I got to get fit for clubs, all this other silly shit.
Yeah.
And then I wasn't having any fun.
Yeah.
And then I went out there and I was like, it's in the rough. I'd kick it a foot. I'm playing against myself, and I know who I am.
Yep.
I'm that guy.
You go through stages with golf.
Yeah. I'll never be able to putt, though.
Really?
I will not be able to read a green and go, yeah, it's right to left. I don't know. I just can't.
Yeah, you never know.
But if I can
practice it,
if I can put it within 3 feet, I can get it in.
Yeah. Just play with someone who gives gimmies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Trump. I'm going golfing with Trump.
Golfing with Trump.
Yeah. All his are gimmies.
Golfing with Trump would be an absolute trip.
Oh, it'd be a great show.
Yeah, I am. Safe to say, I'm not a Trump guy. I would golf with him in a New York minute.
Yeah, you can't turn down that opportunity.
Yeah.
Just for the content.
Yeah.
Biggest influences in comedy.
Whew. It's a multifaceted answer.
Well, let me ask you this to preface that. Do you consume a lot of other comedy, or are you the guy that's like, I don't watch other specials because I want all my ideas to be fresh?
I do consume comedy, yeah. I got into comedy because I was not really paying much attention to comedy, and in college I like did mushrooms. My friend was like, have you ever heard of Joe Rogan? And I was like, oh, and I was like, oh, the Anunnaki and ancient civilizations. But then he'd have comics on, and I was like, I feel like I identify the most with these people than anything else. And so then I started watching it, and I heard like about like Eddie Murphy. So watching Delirious was the first time that I thought, I was a 20-year-old. I was like, oh, comedy can be cool too. Yeah. You can use it to like get girls. Oh my God, maybe I want to do that. So
sign me up.
It was like initially that path, Rogan to Eddie Murphy. And then, as far as people working now, it's like, obviously, there's the Burrs and the Chappelles and even watching like Chrissy D's special and Tim's special was great. But the person who's had the biggest effect on my career and just seeing it up close is Schultz.
Oh, yeah.
Just like, getting to meet him when I was early in my career, and him being the guy who let me do my first massive theater show and let me, help out writing the Netflix show. And I got to see how he's built, a team of people and done the content thing. And so, in terms of like actually seeing how to build a career and watching someone who's just incredible on stage and in every other facet of it, that's probably been the most valuable thing for me.
How did Schultz find you? Did he come through San Francisco, or did you see a clip?
I did the classic way. Like, I just like worked to get past at all the clubs in the area, and so I got paired with him at this club, Rooster Tea Feathers in Sunnyvale, in like 2017, and it's like next to a Goodyear tire store. And he was like half selling it out at the time. And then I think we got paired together again at the Punchline in San Francisco where I worked. And then he started requesting me. So at the Sacramento and all these. And so then it turned into every year whenever he'd come out, I get to do stuff with him and got to watch him go from, half selling out a B room to this last time I got to open up for him at the Masonic, which is 3,500 seat, beautiful theater in my hometown. Like, my my mom and my brother and fiance and friends got to see it, and so it's been really cool to just kind of like coattail it for a little bit and catch enough momentum that now I can start to move a little bit too.
Yeah, but that's going back to baseball, they have the farm leagues for a reason, right? Yeah, and there's a system set up, so it's like you got single A, double A, and triple A of the comedy world.
There's no way around it, and what I always tell people, my advice to younger comics is like, you're gonna want it all now forever, but know that you need to, that's natural, but you got to mix that with being patient, because it just takes a while to cook. Like, I have thought I want the next thing and I should sell merch and do all this shit, which I've like held off on doing, but like felt like what is the next thing? How do I get there? And then just like a year later, you look back and you're like, I sucked back then. What was I thinking?
Yeah.
And
you think you're great.
Think you're great, dude. The first time I did comedy, I got off and I was like, all right, we're 7 minutes into the hour. Like it's I never used any of those jokes.
Yeah.
But it takes a little bit of delusion mixed with reality.
Oh, 100%. What is your favorite club or venue, or it's either or both, weirdest place you've done stand-up?
I'd have to say the San Francisco Punchline's got to be my favorite. That's like the home, like for the whole Bay Area. That's kind of the hub, and it's such a great club. It's one of Chappelle's favorite rooms to work. That's where I did my first headlining night that I made the Mayor video for. Mm-hmm. So a special place, and to even pass there, you have to go there like every Sunday for a year. They don't even put you on. Then they start like telling you you're on next. And it's such an insane process to get through.
You have to go without going up.
Yeah. They basically were like, so many people wanted to go, and maybe this will change in the clip era. I have no idea. But when I was coming up, it was like, we need to see that you're coming here like most Sundays for the showcase. And once you've been doing that for about 6 to 8 months, then we'll start just putting you up at random for your like 5-7 minute spot, and that's how you pass. And so it's an old system, and a lot of people get mad at it.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things. It's like a lot of things in life. Like when you put that much effort into something, it means more to you.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it means more to everyone who's done that system. You know. And so that's kind of our place that we love in the Bay Area. So Punchline's my favorite. Weirdest one, probably. I mean, I've done weirder shows. I did a family reunion in like a Ramada Inn, but
like a cover band.
But there was a legendary place that closed down in the Bay Area called the Brainwash, and it was a laundromat. And they started doing open mic 7 nights a week. So 7 nights a week of open mic comedy. Hell. / laundromat in the middle of like homelessville, San Francisco. So you've got like drifters wandering through, people like yelling shit at you, people are doing their laundry, but there was a lot of community there, and like Robin Williams had been there, and it was still cool. This like legendary, and unfortunately now it's some fucking, tech company, but like,
right.
Yeah, but it had a run.
That would be nuts if you didn't know and you started your laundry.
Yeah.
And
a lot of people
committed to an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And then you're like, hey, everybody, we're going to do stand-up comedy. You're like,
oh, God. Yeah. The amount of comedy that has been unwillingly foisted upon people, like just attempting to live their lives that I've taken part in is diabolical, but it is what it takes.
Yeah. You got to get good somewhere.
And I think that actually is what helps you like riff and do crowd work and stuff, is not like planning people or knowing what I'm going to say, but just being like, there were so many times where I went to do a set and I had it planned out, and I'm going to work on this joke about civilization and like what technology's doing to our brains, man. And then some like homeless dude like wanders through and like shows you his nipple and like throws a cat at you, and you're like, all right, I gotta fucking
cat time.
Yeah, exactly. I gotta do something with this. You gotta
nipple cats. Am I right?
Yeah, gotta connect with people because they're having the same experience too. They don't want to talk about what phones are doing to our brains, man.
Right. I mean, you gotta acknowledge what's happening.
Yeah.
Like in the room. What's the weirdest thing you did or saw as a kid? Like, do you have a Stand By Me, or you find a dead body on a train tracks?
Ooh, that is a good question.
Or an It, where did you find a clown in the woods?
Oh my God. What could that be? I don't know if I had a super weird one.
I grew up with like woods directly behind my house, and there was a creek running through it, and there was tons of kids my age. So there was always like somebody breaking an arm, or like a grifter camping out in the woods for a couple weeks. We had to call the cops, or like Timmy burnt the woods down one time. It was like, there's always something weird. And then I would see it in movies and it would just look cooler. Like,
yeah. So what was your experience? Like, you thought it would be spooky, but then you were just like, oh, I'm legitimately scared.
Oh, that was all paranormal shit, but it wasn't real. It was like people fucking with us.
Yeah.
I grew up super religious, so anything paranormal scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
It was like, because I saw, my parents would take me to like exorcisms in the church.
Yeah.
So then I thought, oh, that shit was real. And then if anything made a noise outside at night, I was like, I'm going inside.
Dude, yeah, I was very afraid of shit as a kid. Like I was afraid of the dark and all this. Like this is not like an exciting story, but I remember we went and visited Alcatraz, and there's all these old photos of like Birdman and all these guys in these like old striped outfits, and we had a basement that I used to love to play in when I was a kid, but I think I would get scared, so I'd be like try to get my older brother to come down, and he'd be like, no, and I'm like, fine, I'll play by myself. I wouldn't go down there for like a month after because there were striped towels hanging in the bathroom that looked like the prison stripes. So whenever I turned back around and saw them, I would freak the fuck out, dude.
There's prisoners down here.
Yeah.
I don't know why you have a southern accent in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. As a child, I was a young white.
White. We're going to bookend this with whites. So much white to cut out of this white episode. Somebody's going to clip that for me. That's what I fear, because I clip my show myself, but I'm worried about, I want to get, you want it now, right? And I want to be big enough to the point where like the fans start clipping shit.
Yeah.
But then if they can do what I can do, and they can take white, and then all the other times I've said man on this show, I could do some dangerous stuff.
Right. So like it would be helpful for that clip if I said something like, who are the only people you like in the world? And then they'll, and then there's the clip. I just made it.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I'm going to put that all together. A buddy of mine the other day on the phone said that I should have a segment called the traffic report, and then just write a series of 10 lead-in questions, and then pull words from earlier in the episode to make it sound bad.
Yeah.
So I might start doing the traffic report.
I love that. Yeah.
That'd be great.
Segments. I think it's funny. The podcasts were always like chill and just sitting in a room, and then as it gets more competitive, we're just like reinventing radio and just talk shows in general is essentially what podcasts are becoming, is just decentralized studio viewing.
Yeah. They should. I think the pay structure should be set up differently, but
in what sense?
It's the way AdRev works for audio only. I mean, your combined total views right now, as we sit here, is about $100 for 2,500 downloads or views.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know, some people have been able to like 2x and 3x those ad sales depending on their target demographic. I'm about to start nerding the fuck out on analytics and podcasting, but if you really want to know, I can tell you off air. This is boring.
I think,
shit.
and I think the reason that the structure works for comedians is like, if you just made all your money off of your online views, it is not fucking worth it.
No.
It's insane. It's ridiculous, and comedians would be more pissed. But for us, it's like, this is all an advertisement for the thing I'm actually good at, and the thing that's, not that this isn't worth, but like that's worth buying a fucking ticket and showing up and coming out to. Like that's what it's all about. So we actually do have that. And
every time we do a podcast or we're a guest on another person's podcast, it's another set of people that are like, I really enjoyed listening to that guy talk. When he comes to my city, I'm going to go by.
Yeah, it's like coming to someone's digital birthday party and meeting all their friends, and it's like, was I fun at the party? I don't know.
Yeah.
Some people probably hated me, but I'm going to be loud, and some
pee
people
in the pool
like,
and kick the donkey in the face.
Yeah, exactly.
The clown went home early, but we can't talk about that.
Yeah.
All right, this next one is kind of tied to the other one, but it encompasses your whole life. Have you ever seen a UFO or a ghost?
Ooh. I don't think so. I'm trying to. No, I haven't.
Okay, cool.
I haven't, but there could be UFOs. I'm not a ghost guy though.
I saw Starlink for the first time in his backyard.
Really?
Yeah. He was outside and he was like, everybody get out here. And he was like, yeah. It was nuts. That's the closest I've ever gotten to a UFO.
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced a natural disaster?
No, I mean like light earthquakes, but like the big one's coming.
Oh yeah.
You
want to predict it? Do you think it's happened by December? November, December of 2020?
The day after the Mets win the World Series.
Holy shit.
The big one is hitting.
If those two things happening, I'm buying lottery tickets and going to Vegas right away.
Yeah.
What's your favorite vacation spot?
Hawaii.
Okay.
Yeah, I want it's for me it's Tahoe or Hawaii.
Lake Tahoe specifically?
Lake Tahoe, yeah, in the summer in particular.
Yeah.
But I probably just, there's something about, hitting the ground in Maui and just going, whoa, this is different. I like adventurous travel as well, but that's different from favorite vacation
That
spot.
feels like more of an adventure, like backpacking or like climbing a mountain or like.
It's rewarding.
Yeah.
It's work. But if I'm talking about like we did it, something cool happened, let's unplug for a week. You know, probably Hawaii. Yeah.
And we did talk about this earlier, and you do like Vegas. That's the second to last question.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, like, I like to party.
Do you gamble?
I do. Yeah, and not at a super high level. Like, I could be just as happy going to Vegas and like going to a club if a DJ I like is playing, or just going to an incredible restaurant, going to a UFC. But yeah, as I wander through the lobby, there will be an hour or two of blackjack, and there will definitely be a visit to the sports book.
Oh,
yeah. And actually, I bet on games on my phone all the time.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll place a bet on a Friday
Yeah.
for a early Sunday game before I fly out, and then I got
Brilliant.
that little ticket in my pocket all weekend. I'm like, well, I can lose all this money because I'm still gonna win this parlay on Sunday morning.
That's a veteran Vegas move, because what you've realized gambling actually is the anticipation of winning.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the win or the loss. So if you buy it Friday and you have it till Sunday, you've bought yourself a little joy for the entire week.
A little hope.
Yeah.
For when you run out of cash.
Yes, but it's like the cigarette of joy.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to
very
make
bad
you
for me.
feel worse. It's bad for your long-term health, but I don't trust people who don't get it.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's the thing with all this is like drinking a bunch makes you feel shitty the next day, all this, but it's like it's team building to go into that with someone and be like, let's burn it down together. You know, not like, I think I'm going to wait. Look, I love being healthy, and I can be this annoying guy too. But, you know, if it's Friday night and someone's like, you know, I gotta wake up early and like prep my salmon salad and go for a run on Saturday, it's like, I appreciate you. I just don't love you as much as the guy who's like, let's burn it down.
I like your brother more than you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
My best friend says everything in moderation, including moderation. And I love that shit. Because
It's a great quote.
Every time I don't need another drink and I get one, I'm like, this is the night I'm just not being moderation.
Yeah.
And I have another drink. And then this is how we end. What is the best meal you've ever had in your life?
Whoa. Shit, that's a good question. God, I wish I could remember the name of it. The thing that popped into my head is there's this incredible restaurant in Chicago, and I remember thinking, this is it. But I'm gonna go a different angle here, because my dad is a great cook, and
Because he's Italian.
yes, my Italian father.
It's a great meatball.
Probably I'll say the best meal I've ever had was the first meal home after my longest trip of successful comedy shows that I did, and I felt like I'd worked so hard and I'd been out on the road, it'd been a super long time, and then finally you're back home, you get the home cooked meal. I'm not doing anything tonight. We're drinking red wine, we're eating rack of lamb, we're having mashed potatoes, and it is just let's fucking kick it time. Nothing gets better than a meal that's earned.
Yeah. And I would say most comics that have answered that question go with something that was prepared at home, or their mom made them soup when they were a kid, or like it's not a dining experience. That's where the question originated, was like, oh, where do you like to go eat?
Yeah.
Because I put it right after Vegas. I like to go eat in Vegas.
Yeah.
So I thought everybody would be like, oh, Sammy's down here in Brooklyn, whatever. That's my favorite. But people have been talking mostly about experiences and being around family.
Well, because that's all, like, that's what a meal. So, like, if you asked someone the hardest time they've ever laughed, they're probably not gonna say at Bill Burr's sold out show at Fenway Park.
Yeah.
They're gonna say, you know, one time my friend got so drunk he peed his pants. But at the same time, the highest level of comedy you could see is in that theater. The highest level of food you could eat is at these amazing restaurants. But nothing will ever beat an experience that feels intimately connected to yourself. But last time I was in Vegas, I went to Momofuku.
Okay.
It was fucking crazy. It was so good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like the SW Steakhouse at Lynn. Because they got that little pond outside doing the show.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. And a good steak when you feel like you've earned it.
It's rated number 3 in Vegas, though. Bellagio outranks it. And I think the steak at Bellagio, this is just fucking white dumb shit.
Yeah. Hey, that's not true. There's rich douchebags of every color.
That's right. And I'm going to go eat steaks with them in Vegas this weekend.
Yeah.
All are welcome at my table.
Yeah.
in Vegas.
Let's go.
You want to go?
Let's do Vegas. I can't go this weekend.
Okay.
I get COVID in Vegas a week before my wedding.
Clipping it.
Yeah. Predictions.
Yes. Joey, plug everything you got one more time before we go, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Super active on Instagram and TikTok. It's at Joey Avery on Instagram, Joey Avery Comedy on TikTok, Joey Avery on YouTube. Website's joeyavery.com. I got a bunch of shit up there, all the live shows. So yeah, come out. I think by the time this comes out, what, mid-October?
I don't know. I've got about 20 banked right now. I don't know what order I'm putting them out in.
Okay, TBD. Well, if there's still October... Oh, wait, no. November 10th. Zany's Rosemont in Chicago. And then I think November 14th, I'm going to be doing a show in Appleton, Wisconsin.
Oh, boy.
On a Monday because my friend plays for the Packers, and we're going to get a bunch of the team out. It's going to be fun.
I have a Aaron Rodgers story that I'm going to tell you as soon as I hit this button.
Let's go.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on the Isaac Abrams Show, and thank you, Joy, for being here.
Peace.